Hey y'all, what's up? It's Sai, and this is 10 months. Yeah! Um, yeah, I guess it's like one of those weird things that I kind of forget about making videos, and then I go, oh shit. But today is actually the 25th, which means it's legitimately the 10-month day. So I was like, no, I'm gonna carve out some time, and also I just, I have work in the morning, so it was like I should be in my bed early. Yeah. Let's see. Fun things. I haven't really, like, as far as changes go, I think things are just kind of happening, and I'm kind of just, like, letting them do their thing. Um, I do notice that I have to shave more often on my face, which is cool. Um, Experimenting with, like, trying to not cut it up into little tiny pieces. That sucks. Um, but for the most part, like it is what it is. The gym is cool. I think my gym schedule has like not been as frequent as I would like it to be. So like there's that. Um, but I mean, it's just like generic things. Like there's more body hair like everywhere, which is cool, which you can't really see except for like this fun little patch of like chest fuzz. Yeah, that fun patch of chest fuzz. Sorry. um, but yeah, for the most part, people like don't really. I forget about these things until people that know me and knew me from like before I started T slash like early in like the HRT process knew me, and then they go, "Hey, guess what? This thing's changed. Your face, or your jawline, or like your clothes like fit different." But other than that, like it's I think upping my dose helped. I went from 2 pumps to 3 pumps a day, which was, I was like, yeah, that was probably a smart idea. I feel, for the most part, much more calm than I used to. Um, and things kind of bother me less. And I think the biggest thing that I notice now is that passing wasn't something that I thought about, and now is a thing that happens. And now I get really frustrated, so to speak, when I don't. Um, I I think it was kind of really like weird. That was really frustrating, especially living where I was living before. It was a town where there was a lot of lesbians, and there was multiple women's colleges. And while like folks were trying to be super affirming about like, oh, non-feminine looking person who could be queer, we're just going to assume that they're butch lesbian and be try and friendly. Like actually it was really harmful, and I found myself, the longer I was on testosterone, the longer the more angry I would get when it would happen to me. It was like I was not feeling it at all. So I actually wound up getting a job elsewhere for the summer. So I like moved out of my house, and I am now currently living in a dorm room, and I'm not, it's not like I'm living in a residence hall doing whatever. I'm legitimately in a dorm room. So I'm in a twin extra long bed for the summer. And one really interesting thing that I noticed was like the last time I was in a bed like this, I was smaller. And so it's actually like my shoulder hangs off the bed because like they're just wider than they used to be, which is really funny. When I rolled over my first night here and fell out of the bed, I also think it might just be I'm out of practice. I like to think it's the former and not the latter. But also it's probably some sort of combination of both. Like there's just more of me taking up this bed than there used to be. But I think one of the other things that's about this job is that I'm doing queer work, or at least like I wouldn't say queer work, but I'm working like for inclusion and diversity at a like large public research university, and we have implementing this program, and for the most part, I'm stealth. And being stealth was never something that I ever wanted to be. It was never something like, I'm going to try and be stealth. Like, I need to pass and be read as male. I was like, I'm a queer little shit, and I really just want to feel more comfortable in my body being a queer little shit. And, like, that's kind of it. I was more of, like feeling comfortable, for so to speak, like, words escaping me right now. So to get here and to have people only see me as male, and particularly read that as my experience. So from some of the other interns, I get interesting comments about, oh, when you were a little boy or whatever, and I honestly don't know if that's them being trying to be more like inclusive and accepting as far as like trans things and like making sure like the narrative is right, you know, um, or if that's legitimately like them not knowing that I was born slash assigned female at birth, and like them genuinely reading me as like a queer man, which is really cool. Like it's cool and it's really interesting. Like it's a really tough space to navigate. Um, it's also like another thing. Like at least at this point here in this town, I don't really stand out. Like there are more people of color here. There are more like gender non-conforming people, but like still queer masculine people. Like basically I moved from like a rural fucking country town to like a college town, and in college towns people look very differently, so there's not a lot of like double looks in my direction, and everything is generally pretty cool, which is nice to not have to worry about, and makes trying to build relationships with folks harder. um, I don't necessarily, since I don't know who's trans, like no one said I'm trans, and I don't know if there are trans folks here, no one else has disclosed, but because of that, and things that people are like, oh yeah, we're going swimming, and I was like, oh shit, do I go swimming? Do I not go swimming? And what, I wound up not going swimming. Or it's things like bars. I went out to a bar with some folks and like thought boys were cute, but I was like, do you even see me? And there were like some female identified folk who were cute, and I was like, do you even see me now? Like, so there were certain things within the context of being in a like intentionally queer space, gender non-conforming space, where it was, oh, you're trans, obviously, like we're gonna date you, and here it's like you're just a young looking dude who's not anything special, and like you're kind of invisible, which is nice, I will say, and also really kind of like, man, I never thought that I wouldn't feel so unseen before. I've always felt completely and totally under the radar, and now I don't feel seen at all. And that's just like, it's fun and it's really scary. I'm also having to like re-navigate things. It was a little, as far as like queer things slash like allyship work. I hate the word ally. It's just annoying as fuck. But particularly in amongst like my female counterparts, in the internship that I'm in, like there have been dudes who've said like really fucked up things, and I haven't said anything, because I'm going, oh my god, that's fucked up. What do I do? Oh my god, that's fucked up. What do I do? Am I allowed to say something? And it's like, it's that whole like, do people want me to intervene? But then other people are saying, God, he was so annoying. I wish he had just left. And then I go, oh my god, I should have said something. He might have left. Or like at least intervening in a way that was like, I feel like I would expect of myself from a good male ally. And while I don't identify as male, there are folks who are reading me as such. And I think, I'm not saying I'm awful at it. I'm not saying I'm great at it either. But I think the ways in which my allyship shows up as far as being a womanist and working towards the rights of women, and like there are these things, and not basically being a good human, not being a dick for all intents and purposes, is how like I really phrase it. But like in thinking about the fact that like I'm now read as male and therefore things are afforded to me, I think I need to do better about that. And that was like a really weird thing to notice for myself. Like I'm glad I noticed it now as opposed to like 6 months ago. But then I'm also just like, not 6 months ago, but 6 months from now. But like then I'm also noticing like, oh my god, 6 months ago, like was I this person? Was I this much? Like, did these things appear to me? Was I being read this way? So I guess I'm doing a little bit more self-reflection than I thought I had been doing, which is really nice, and it's just really, it's a little painful, and also just like, I don't have anybody to process this with, right? I don't have anybody to talk to about how do I show up now as an ally. A lot of my friends are either back in Massachusetts or elsewhere, and like we don't have easy contact to each other, so it's a little bit weird for me to try and be processing this on myself and being like, am I doing this right? And also not having disclosed to the folks that I'm with. I've never said anything. We're all friends on Facebook, so if they Facebook stalk me long enough, I'm sure that they can like figure some shit out. But at the same time, if they haven't, they still don't know, or they haven't brought it up and they're waiting for me to bring it up, which I really appreciate, because I might not ever bring it up with them. And also, it's a little like it's just new. There's also another like cis dude here, and I am like not here for him. Like people like these white guy from like your run of the mill America. Like, yes, I probably should be more open to him, but that's just not, one, that's not who I am as a person, and two, it's like everything that I see when I look at like a masculine man person thing, I'm like, you are everything that I don't want to be. So it's like, how do I make sure that I don't do that, but in that context of my gender and queerness and being visible and read, how do I also not turn into that person and trying not to be that person? So it's just like being more aware of certain things. But I think, yeah, the social changes at this point have been like that. Those have been the big ones for me. My family is still cool, I guess. I mean, cool is relative and subjective. My dad keeps outing me, which is really fucking annoying, and I'm just like waiting for him to stop, but he won't get the memo. And I know it comes from a good place, but it's really kind of problematic. And like, I sent him an email. I was like, dude, you need to stop. Please don't tell anybody that I'm trans. Like, I don't need that. Like, I get to do that. I need you to understand that I get to do that and not you, which is really hard for him and a hard thing to say. Other things that I've noticed on testosterone. Oh, my foot got big. My feet get bigger. Like that's the thing. My feet have gotten bigger, so that's cool. I need to go buy new shoes. And yeah, I like. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm like thinking and pausing, and I'm trying, like, is there anything else that I'm missing? And at this point in my life, like, aside from like putting on gel every day, I just experience the world the way I experience the world, in this really interesting kind of view of being like, I'm genderqueer, and I think that's the biggest thing is like, I see myself over here as being genderqueer, and the rest of the world sees me as male, and it's like, okay, now what do I do to make sure that my queerness gets read? Because I don't necessarily like/enjoy this maleness thing, like this man, specifically this man thing. That was never something that I wanted to be, but it is now what I'm becoming. So like, I just have to fucking deal with it. And like, what does that mean? And there are folks who know me, who see me for the genderqueer person that I am, and I love them. But for the rest of the world, they don't. And it was really, it was intentional as to why I started hormones. And it's just kind of like the reality of like my ideas of what I was thinking versus how it actually implements itself. On the bright side, I've been wearing like all of my like women's college, not women's college, but like women's team shit. So this is my rugby tank top from when I was an undergrad, and like I wore like a women's college shirt from a friend of mine to the gym today, and like I wore another one the other day, and I have like another women's college t-shirt from like my best friend which I stole, and she's never gonna get that back. Sorry, Grace. And so like there are things that I've been wearing to just kind of like in a way that are like keeping me grounded, and I'm sure people are just like, what is this dude doing with all this women's college stuff? And I'm like, these are from the people or places or things in my life that have made me who I am today. So like that's still really important. And I don't think I've changed that. I mean, I think if anything, once I swear to gosh, like once I have a beard, short shorts, crop tops, like I swear to God, like I want to try wearing a skirt out in public. I haven't done that in a very long time, and it made me really uncomfortable before, and I just want to see what it's like again, because like it was hot today, and wearing a skirt would have been kind of nice, but I didn't because one, I have like body size issues, and two, like I'm pretty sure I would have just gotten read as like a butch lesbian in a skirt, and like that would have been a little weird. I'm not really sure. Okay, well I've talked for enough, and really I'm kind of tired, and I want to like check in with some folks and then go to bed. So yeah, that was 10 months, and we'll see how 11 months goes. All right, deuces.